Ah, New York, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. Home of the rat that carries pizza, streets that smell like trash, and the best shopping in the world.
Which is great, because if there's one thing that Americans love, it's to buy stuff we don't need and then throw it in the trash. It's part of our culture.
And it's a culture that's bred a lot of cool stuff. Without it, we probably wouldn't have Snuggies or pizza pouches or 311.
But it's hard to argue that any of these things are absolutely necessary to life.
So then why do we buy all this crap?
20th century French theorist Jean Baudrillard took a look at consumer habits and theorized that we're a culture of sign-form consumption, which means that we don't buy stuff because we need it or even because it's particularly useful, but just because we want it.
And really, the things we buy, we believe are integral to our identities. This is the heart of our constructed desires.
Sometimes it comes disguised as a shiny plastic tampon applicator for your convenience, or the packaging that came with your laptop.
Even if you rein in your desire to acquire, you're still complicit in creating demand for all sorts of things.
I mean, what happens after we make that purchase or purchases and purchases?
This kind of consumption has some pretty devastating consequences. Besides the fact that we've now taken on a bunch of shit we don't need, we've enabled the earth to have a bunch of stuff it doesn't need. Trash.
I mean, I know matter cannot be created or destroyed, but like, why did you have to turn all that petroleum into pleather pants? Really?
My ass looks great in those pants. The typical person produces 2.6 pounds of garbage a day. That means you're producing your weight in garbage every few months. That's a lot of garbage, people. And a lot of garbage people.
What's worse is that in the United States, we make up a little less than 5% of the world's population, but we make 70% of the world's trash. And 80% of goods produced in the US are used once and then thrown away.
That's so embarrassing.
So how did we get here? Well, let me take you back to 1920, when the US economy was producing a lot of surplus goods. Back then, people would buy what they needed from stores that they walked to through 15 miles of snow. But when widget factories started cranking out more doodads than you can shake a wooden nickel at, corporations realized the best way to keep people buying shit was to get them to buy based on desire.
Enter Edward Bernays, Sigmund Freud's nephew, who made a career out of linking stuff with desire. He kind of invented modern advertising. He pioneered techniques like product placement and celebrity endorsement, and he claims that he was the first to associate buying cars with penis size.
He was basically Don Draper, but older and real.
And thus American consumerist culture was born, and it continues to grow today.
In 2013, Coca-Cola reported spending $3.3 billion globally on advertising. And dang it if it ain't working like gangbusters, because that same year, humans spent $48 billion on Coke products.
So they have plenty of money to spend on global labor and environmental disputes.
The problem with all this is that while we buy, our municipalities are having trouble keeping up with all the waste we're producing. Our country is running out of room in its landfills.
Today, New York City has no place within its 5 boroughs to bury or burn its trash. It all gets shipped to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and upstate New York. They closed their last local landfill in 2001.
And like most retired landfills, it's now being turned into a park, putting the super fun into super fun.
So the next time you're having an adorable picnic, think about all the half-empty coffee cups and period-stained underwear you could be sitting on in the future.
The problem is that no matter where your trash gets stored, it never truly goes away. It just becomes somebody else's problem.
And that, my friends, is one heck of an externality.
The good news is that you can take simple steps at an individual level to reduce how much garbage you're creating.
Drink like this.
Eat like this.
Shop like this.
Or shop like this. It's a conversation piece.
And there's literally tons of rad stuff to be found in the garbage. Did I ever tell you about the time that I found 3 Santa suits in a dumpster?
No, you didn't. I lived off of garbage bagels throughout all of college. All my furniture is from the garbage.
My breakfast was day-old donuts.
Where do you think candy corn comes from?
Who threw this away?
You don't have to go straight freegan to stop consuming like a hungry hippo. Just reduce, reuse, and recycle, and take small practical steps against conspicuous consumption.
And most importantly, ask yourself constantly, is this just some dumb bullshit? Because it probably is. Isn't it so fun to be educated on the effect of your rampant consumerism?
It sure is. It absolutely is. Don't you want to learn more?
Well, if you want to learn about your tits, you can go to this other video we did last week about boobies.
Or you can subscribe.
You gotta subscribe.
You must.
You must subscribe.
Boobs, subscribe. Boobs, subscribe.